Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty, they would like Dr. King's book banned. They don't want students to learn about him. They think it's too controversial. It's part of the critical race theory agenda. And then they had this to post on Dr. King's birthday. Here it is. All right, so they are honoring Dr. King. During this year's Martin Luther King Day, the conservative group Moms for Liberty posted this tribute to MLK on Instagram. Honoring the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Moms for Liberty. Well, that is an about face to the sentiment you expressed earlier when we covered you. According to Salon.com, the Williamson County, Tennessee chapter of the group Moms for Liberty filed an 11-page complaint. These Karens had enough time to write 11 damn pages, with the state claiming that a second grade curriculum, which includes works about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., has a heavily biased agenda. You're damn right it does. It's biased against racist people. Correct. That would make kids hate their country, each other, and or themselves. Well, unless you believe that racist white people are America, unless you believe that, then this is contrary to the truth. Unless you believe that an education of the facts, the historical fact, that racist individuals once engaged in systemic racism, cultural racism, statutory racism, all of it. If you're saying that that is America, okay. But I thought America wasn't racist. So if we're talking about some racist people in America, that's not America according to you all. Because when someone says America is racist, you say, no. America has racist people, but America's not racist. So what's the problem here? We're talking about racist people, right? All right, there's more. Inside the complaint, Moms for Liberty, they take swift issue. They take a lot of issue with the books in a school's offered curriculum, including Francis Ruffin's Martin Luther King Jr. and the March on Washington. All right, March on Washington, controversial. And the autobiographical Ruby Bridges Goes to School. Too controversial for this group. My True Story, the complaint also cites photographs of white firemen blasting black children to the point of bruising their bodies and ripping off their clothes. That's what happened, madam. Let's put up a picture of this individual. She is the chief Karen among them all. The signed complaint was delivered by the local group's chairperson, Robin Steenman, who was called an Air Force veteran and white mother of 3 by a publication. Despite what conservatives claim about MLK Day, he was not well liked during the time he was alive. So while these particular individuals are now saying that, hey, on King Day, we can post support King on his holiday, but not support his policies, be antithetical to his books. You don't want children to learn about him. This doesn't make sense, doesn't add up. Well, guess what? During his era of living, same dynamics applied. During the 1960s, Dr. King was not well liked. He was considered a very divisive figure. The last Gallup poll to ask about his popularity during his lifetime was taken in 1966. They found his unfavorable rating was 63%. Now remember, this was a man dedicated to nonviolent peaceful protests to affect actual change in the construct of America. Nonviolent peaceful protests. And his unfavorability rating was close to people who did not care about having a nonviolent approach. Do you understand how divisive he was interpreted? All right, it was insane and extreme. Okay, perhaps even more revealing is that a lot of white Americans thought King was doing more harm than good for the fight for civil rights. In a 1966 Harris poll, 50% of white Americans indicated that he was hurting the civil rights effort. A mere 36% said he was helping. King's favorable rating among them was 27%. in 1966. Even in the immediate aftermath of his death, many Americans had negative views of King. Nearly 31% said he brought his 1968 assassination upon himself. Less than a majority, 43%, said they were sad. 38% said sad or angry, 5%. It gives you an idea, not only in his philosophy and his leadership was he hated by many, actually by the majority. Even in his death, he was celebrated for dying, not for leading, by many of these same kinds of individuals who will say one thing that may make sense, but then actually behave in a way that's adversarial to the progress of Black people. This is not something to play with. The reason why they do not want children to learn about Dr. King is because Dr. King himself teaches a lesson. You see, he is the teacher. You learn about Dr. King, you learn about what Dr. King taught. And so they don't want that. They rather do a post to say, Happy King Day, and completely oppose his agenda, completely oppose his policy positions. You see, they rather give you a statue of King than give you a statute based on King. That's the game. Democrats and Republicans play that game. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
Well, you're right, it is nothing to play with. And it strikes me that Dr. King worked on behalf of all, but he was a truth teller. He was a truth teller. And so you're right, the message of love, equality, justice, inescapable. If you're gonna learn about Dr. King, it's an inescapable message that comes with it, Dr. Richey. This group and their 11-page complaint, I don't know if it was double spaced? Was it double spaced? I don't know what it said. And I don't know if we can get the time back. I don't want you to look it up. I know you got a crack staff. Please don't read the dissertation. I don't understand how you have so much time and energy for this kind of rhetoric and lies.
Yeah, and listen, Trump is about to choose perhaps the #1 national Karen, which is Marjorie Taylor Greene, to be his vice presidential running mate. This is going to get even more interesting than it currently is.